Guys, welcome to Java JSM, and in this video we are going to talk about if-else statement. And if-else statement is very important while doing a data structures or whatever the logical questions you are giving a coding round interview. That time it's very important, so you have to understood these things in the better way. Okay, so I hope you have focus and you can understood these things in better way. Okay, so if I tell you, okay, for example, I will take this one. Okay, for example, we have some if-else conditions. I hope you know basic, but still I'm going to explain it. Okay, so if-else condition means like we have a two choice. One is this one and one is this one. Okay, and the condition is if you do these things, then I will give you this chocolate. If you not do this, I will give you this chocolate. Okay, for example, we have a one race, and in the race you have to complete our race in 5 minutes. So if you complete your race less than 5 minutes, then I told you like I will give you this chocolate. Okay, if this is execute, I will execute this block and I will give you this chocolate. If you not complete, then I will give you some better option, yes, some not better options also, and I will give you this one chocolate. Okay, so in the same way we can write a code in our Java also, and we can decide like what we have to do. So for example, in the basic example, if I take for example, we have a one numbers, okay, and number is 8, and we have to write a code to check this number is even or odd. Okay, even or odd number. So what we can do, we can write one if conditions. Okay, and we can check like what are the numbers we have. Okay, those numbers, it modulo division with the 2 and equal to is 0. So we can say it's a even number, right? If it is not in else condition, we can say odd numbers, right? But if you don't have a else conditions, if you don't want to find a odd numbers, you can ignore it, not required also. You can write just if condition also, and you can check if it is, if you satisfy these conditions, then do these executions and leave it. Okay, that is also possible. So in this diagram I'm going to explain you like this is our code, which is main method, which is going to execute in that in middle of that he will see one condition, which is if conditions, and if this condition is satisfied, if it is satisfied, then go and execute. If it is true, then go and execute this block of the code. If it is not, then go and execute the else block of the code, and finally go to the out of main method. Okay, in this way we are going to explain it. Okay, for example, if I go to the our Eclipse, and if I tell you, for example, I have a check to even or odd numbers. So I have one numbers, for example, so int n equal to 8, and I have to check this number is odd or even. So what I can do, I can write if n is modulo division 2 equal to 0, definitely we can say it's a odd numbers or even numbers with that, and I can print here yes out, and I can print here even number. Otherwise I will write here else conditions. If I don't want to write, I can not write also, that is fine, but if I want to write, I can write it. Okay, yes, so beauty yes out, or that's it. That much simple coding I am doing, not big coding. Okay, and that's it. Only if you execute it, you can see the output in the console. It's a even numbers. If you change the number and if you make it 7, so 7 is what? Odd numbers. Okay, so what will happen is, what we have done is, this is the numbers and this is the conditions. If you pass this condition n modulo division 2, so if you divide n with the 2 modulo division, so what is the remainders? You get 0. So if 0 equal to 0, condition is true, so here it will return true, and if it is true, it will go inside this and it will print this number is a even number. If this condition is become false by the any chance, then what will happen? It will go and execute this one else condition. It will say number is odd numbers. Got it? I hope. Okay, let it be. Let's go to our here, and you can separately write a if condition also. For example, you don't want else conditions, you can write if conditions. It's possible. For example, I have a something, okay, and I want to write like, hey, if whatever the value I have, n equal to 10, okay. For example, I have a int n equal to 5, yeah, 6, whatever, and I'm checking if n equal to 10, then what I have to do is I have to print my lucky number, right? And if it is not, I can say done. Okay, that's it only. So if I print it, you can see the output is only done. Why? Because we have a n is 6. So n, if it is here 6 equal to 10, so it will give false, and if it is false, it will go, there is no else condition, so it will go directly and it will print this one. Okay, and if you give n equal to 10, then what will happen? Then it is true, and both the message you can see my lucky number are done. Correct? Okay, for example, we have some marks. In exam, you are getting some marks. So we have some marks, and int marks equal to, my marks is something called 75. Okay, 75. Okay, 75%, we can say 75%, and I have to write a code like, hey, your marks is less than, your marks is less than 30%, we can say S out, you are fail, correct, you are fail. If your marks is less than 30%, you are fail. In else conditions, I will write else if, hey, if your marks is less greater than 30% and marks is less than how much? If your marks is greater than 30% and less than 45%, we can say S out, second division or third division, third division. Okay, not 45, I think 35 you can consider, or 40, 35, let's consider it 35. And in the same way we have to write a code. So let me copy it and go to the next, let me paste it, and if the marks is less than, let me remove it, not required. If marks is greater than 35 and marks is less than 45, then we can say second division, third division, this is second divisions, and one more we have to write, which is first division. Okay, so what we can do, anyhow, if it is more than that, so we don't want to write any conditions for that, we can directly say your first division. Okay, let me run this. So if you see, we are getting a like first divisions here, but if I give my marks is 20, it will give me a fail. How it's fail? Because your marks is 21%, so 21 less than 30, correct, true. So once it will run one if condition, it will not go and check other any conditions. So because of that, it's a fast. Okay, and it will not check any other conditions, so it will not waste our time and those time also, and it will do the work properly. And one more things, this is also not required. Okay, if you see properly, marks is greater than 30%. Automatically if it is less than that much it will take, so no need to write greater than. Okay, this one is also not required, and again it will handle each and everything. Okay, let me run one more times. Your fill, if you give anything like 40%, so if your marks is less than 40%, then what will happen, you are a second divisions. Okay, but greater than 35%. If your marks is something called 33%, then what will happen with you, you are a third division students, so you can become a third divisions. If your marks is something called 70% or 60%, okay, then we can say you are a first division student. Okay, first division student. So here we can put, I think 60, up to 60, less than 60, it's a second division student only if you give the first division. But if you give here 59 also, if you have a 59% also, you are second division student, correct? So like that we have to write if condition. So if one if condition is true, it will not check any other if else conditions. Okay, if it is false, then it will check this condition. If it is this one is also false, it will take this check condition, and if this one is also false, then by default it will run this else condition, and this else is optional, not required to write also. Okay, this one is also optional, it's your demand, it's your demand, and this one you have to write if it is required. Okay, I hope you understood what I am saying. Okay, so this is the if else condition, and it's very important. So many places we have to write a code for that. Okay, if you go down and if you see here, it says some of the statement. If you see here, okay, so let me write. Okay. So this is the Java if. So if you see here, Java if else control statement, we can say this part also. What is the if else condition? So I have shown you this is the one condition, this is the another condition, this is the another conditions. So what will happen if this is true? It will not go remaining and it will check, it will go back. So this is the standard if else allowed, only if it will be allowed. If you have some other condition also, you can give else if, and you can put another more condition. Okay, so this is the first, this is the second, and if it is true, it will execute this one. It's saying like always required if. Okay, this if is always required. Okay, if it is optional, something you have to give, if it nothing is fine, then you can print this one, else only. So here we have written else, here else if, and here if. So if you have a more than one condition, then you have to write if, else if, and at the rate. If it is required, give the else, otherwise it's optional, not required also. And it's a happen not mandatory also. So I hope you understood what I'm saying. Okay, let's discuss about this one. Okay, so if I say you, okay, like this is the class we have, which is test. Okay, and in this test class we have a method called main methods, and we have a one value called rating 8. Okay, inside the rating value 8, what we have done is, if the rating is less than 5, bad rating we can print. If not, we can go to the else part and we can check if rating is less than 8, then we can say average rating. Okay, based on these conditions we have a rating value this one. Okay, also for example we don't have a less than 8 rating also, so what, it will go to the else conditions and it will say good rating and it will print it. Okay, so based on that, if you think in your minds like so many places, so many situations, you can see if else condition is very required to take a decisions like what is this exactly. Okay, so I have just explained you like how it will work. But if you go and if you check, there is lots of the things is happen inside the if else conditions. Okay, so if you check here, so people are writing sometimes if condition. Okay, based on the requirement. Some places we have to write if with else if required. Some places we required if, then again else if, and again else if. Okay, like that. Some situation we have to use if, okay, else if. Okay, at the end if you required you can write the else condition and you can close it. Sometimes we have to write later if else. Later if else means we have a one if conditions. Okay, let me go down. We have a, for example, later if else. So if I say later if else, it means that we have a one if, okay, and we have some conditions, and based on that we have a open and close bracket. So if you write inside this one more if and having some conditions and open close, again we have a some else open close, and here we have again if condition open close. So if you think about this one, so that is called a later if else, having a hierarchy, and inside it also you can write a another if. So this is the one if, this is the if else, and this is the third one if. So like that if you write, that is called a later if else. So based on the conditions you have to go that much depth you have required to do it, you can go and you can write a code for that, no issue in it. Okay, for example I'm going to show you. Okay, just before we have seen if else, like that. Okay, but if I show you like something not related to the marks, but if I show you, if you want to write like that, if let me take one value int I equal to 0 and I equal to 0, go inside this, having a if, go inside this, I equal to 3, go inside this, you can write a else, you can write here also else possibles, here also inside this if you go and if it is required to write else, you can write I equal to 5, again you can write else here also. So that is something you have to treat it and you have to write a code for that. If based on the your scenario, your situation, if it is required, you have to write it. So that is called a later if else. Sometimes it's required if you do some complex filter. Okay, that is also possible. Okay, no doubt in that. Okay, so I hope guys you understood how to use a if else and how we can use it. Okay, and we have discussed in the depth also. Okay, what are the things we can do and how we can write a if else. But one more things you have to understood, you can just write a if condition whenever it's required, no need any dependency in that. Okay, so this is the one situation. Okay, if you want to write if open close with else, you can write it. But if you try to write anything which is only else, and if you try to write I can write something place only else, so that is not possible. That is not possible. That is not possible. This one is possible, this one is possible, but only else you can't write, and it is not possible also. So you have to avoid these things. Okay, you can't write directly else, or you can't write else if conditions anywhere directly without supporting of help of if you write, it will give the exceptions or error, it will not work. Okay, so always remember it will start with the if conditions, and inside this whatever if else conditions you want to put, you can put, whatever else if conditions you want to put, you can put. And one more thing, the condition always at the end it should be a boolean value, true and false. If you write anything like 0 and 1, it will not support. Okay, so these things you have to remember it. In Java, only 0 and 1 will not support. It will support only true and false. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you understood how you can use if else statement also.